Hello and welcome to our presentation, The Sustainability of Faculty-Librarian Partnerships, inspired by the ACRL framework. I'm Michael STOEPEL. I'm the User Services Librarian at the American University of Paris.
I am Livia, Head Librarian at Cabot University in Rome, Italy.
I'm Zan Goodman, Health Sciences Librarian and Associate Professor at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
And I'm Samantha Godby, Education Librarian and Associate Professor at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. The topic of our presentation is the sustainability of faculty-librarian partnerships, specifically in the context of collaborative work around the ACRL framework. What about the ACRL framework is conducive to partnerships between librarians and disciplinary instructors? The framework consists of a cluster of interconnected core concepts with flexible options for implementation. This flexibility allows librarians to use the framework in ways that make sense to them and their students. In fact, librarians are encouraged to customize their approach to implementing the framework to the specific context of their institutions. The frames themselves are broad and applicable across disciplines, not only in libraries. Furthermore, discussing student learning in terms of these broad concepts provides opportunities for librarians to discuss deeper aspects of student learning with their disciplinary colleagues, rather than focusing on discrete skills or tools. In this presentation, we share lessons learned from a set of librarian and faculty partnerships that were nurtured in a 2-day workshop on integrating the ACRL framework into a disciplinary course.
The Codesign Workshop. The 4 presenters had the opportunity to plan and facilitate a 2-day workshop we call Codesign, Integrating Information Literacy into Your Disciplinary Course. This workshop was held in spring 2017 in Paris, France, and hosted by the American International Consortium of Academic Libraries, a consortium of 29 liberal arts institutions in Europe, Asia, and Africa. Samantha and myself, Zan, facilitated the workshop, while Livia and Michael helped to plan the workshop and were themselves participants. The participants consisted of 14 librarian and disciplinarian faculty pairs. Partners applied to attend, including a proposed project the librarian and disciplinary partner would collaborate on. Participants made a commitment to close collaboration in the planning and implementation of a course for the following academic year. Courses range from first-year seminars to graduate-level courses in subjects including history, writing, media studies, political science, marketing, and cultural anthropology. Beyond the completion of the workshop itself, a survey was distributed to all participants later in the year. Additionally, we offered the opportunity to reflect more deeply on their experiences and case studies for the book that would become Faculty-Librarian Collaborations, Integrating the Information Literacy Framework into Disciplinary Courses, published by ACRL in December 2020. This slide provides a summary of the case studies. There were a total of 8 case studies by 13 authors from 7 countries. Note that half of the case studies were written by both librarian and instructors. One was written by a faculty member without his librarian partner. We use an asterisk to indicate when there was a faculty disciplinary partner who wrote an actual case study.
Positive outcomes of the partnerships. After the workshop and the rollout of the co-design pilot courses, a survey was distributed among the workshop participants to get a better sense on how the experience helped the faculty librarian teams to reshape their collaboration. The survey results provided mostly positive feedback with comments that highlighted how the newly designed information literacy sessions went generally well, even though not all experiences were entirely successful. In many cases, the survey participants pointed out how the information literacy integration had been possible thanks to the language used in the framework and the concept delivered, which are closely connected with the teaching practices the faculty are accustomed to. Therefore, the ACRL framework proved to be useful for creating collaborative experiences. Moreover, the possibility to have the librarians co-teaching the courses and not just being guest lecturers was meaningful for both librarians and faculty members. And lastly, many faculty participants confirmed that at the end of the pilot courses, the students showed improvements in the information literacy concepts discussed throughout the semester. The case studies further highlight the positive responsive to the co-design projects. This slide provides the three main categories in which we can organize the positive outcomes of similar partnerships. The case studies show how information literacy integration happened in a variety of forms. The possibility to better integrate information literacy concepts has definitely a high value, especially from a librarian's perspective, because it allows to infuse a disciplinary course with multiple information literacy frames while scaffolding skills throughout a semester-long experience. All case studies outline how the collaborative aspect has been essential to improve existing partnerships, to maintain them through time, and to use these collaborative experiences as positive examples to establish new partnerships. All participants found benefits from these collaborations. Faculty members had the opportunity to have a dedicated research specialist embedded in the classroom. The librarians acquired an increased visibility, and the students improved their overall performance in the discipline while acquiring information literacy skills.
Challenges in sustaining these partnerships. I would like to share my observations now with regard to the challenges workshop participants have faced in sustaining these partnerships. I base, as Livia before, my findings on the spring 2018 survey plus on anecdotal feedback ever since. I identified four main challenges. The first one was related to scheduling. Many times what happens is actually that faculty and librarians could not meet on time, or there was a change in the scheduling. Like you can see in the first quote, the course was scheduled in the evening and then the librarian could not attend the session anymore. The second main challenge was about the faculty-librarian partnerships. And as you can see in the quotes, these were not always directly addressed. Somehow it was coming out in between the lines. You can see that in the first quote, the faculty member did not give too much control of the session to the librarian, or in the second quote, the professor would actually say that the ideas in the co-design workshop were great, but they would not apply to their work in that course together. The third challenge was with regard to co-design courses and their approval. So the question was right here about if, and you can see that in the quotes, if the course would actually be approved and institutionalized by the department. And as you know, many times these courses have already learning outcomes at the beginning of the class, of course, and they're not as easy to change as we might imagine. And last but not least, and I think this is something based on anecdotal feedback, and I called it the change of detail. Many times, of course, faculty or librarian, they move on to new responsibilities. They might leave the university, look for new adventures, and the relationship would, or the partnership right here between faculty and librarian would actually stop, and the course would not continue to be taught.
In conclusion, we would like to offer suggestions for others hoping to start new partnerships between librarians and disciplinary colleagues around the framework. A very important suggestion is to study the framework, either by yourself through organized webinars or other trainings, or discuss it with colleagues. The more familiar you are with the document, the more you notice opportunities to integrate these frames into your instruction and ways that they connect to the specific work of other disciplines you may support as a librarian. You should also review existing syllabi in order to determine where the elements of the framework fit. After doing so, you can then reach out to strategically selected faculty to initiate relationships. You will want to take advantage of individual relationships and opportunities. Related to this, you may want to develop a short statement or elevator pitch that is a couple of sentences long about the framework itself. That way, you're prepared to discuss what it is and why it matters to a disciplinary colleague. Once you're familiar with and hopefully excited about the framework, you can ask to present about the framework at curriculum and faculty meetings to start conversations and initiate collaborations. You can also integrate the framework into online resources such as your library website or LibGuides. And finally, be careful about library jargon and terminology. You will want to develop a shared vocabulary with your collaborators in order to move forward together. Thank you for your attention. We look forward to your questions and discussion. Please also note Michael's email address in the corner if you would like to receive a copy of our presentation and speaker notes. We're happy to share them.